The untold truth about Central Cee, why he's always a target. Central Cee is one of the most streamed rappers in the entire UK, but behind the fame, the money, and the clean image lies a story filled with danger, neighborhood tension, jealous rivals, street politics, and threats that started long before he ever became a superstar. To the outside world, he looks untouchable. But inside the streets of West London, things are never that simple. Because when you come from a place full of long-running beefs, drill culture pressure, and people who don't like to see you win, you don't become famous, you become a target. This is the dark truth behind why Central Cee is constantly watched, constantly talked about, and constantly surrounded by danger, even when he doesn't ask for it. Where it all started. Shepherd's Bush. To understand why Central Cee is always in someone's crosshairs, you have to understand where he comes from. Shepherd's Bush, West London, one of the most diverse and active parts of the city, but also one of the most unpredictable. Behind the restaurants, markets, and busy streets is a long history of robberies, gang conflict, and postcode tension. You can find rich neighborhoods just minutes away from dangerous blocks, a combination that creates tension, jealousy, and crime. Central Cee grew up right in the middle of that environment. He wasn't known for being part of a gang, but the area itself meant he was constantly surrounded by people who were involved, people who had enemies, and people who had no problem turning small conflicts into major problems. When you grow up in a place like Shepherd's Bush, you don't need to be in a gang to be dragged into beef. The streets decide for you. And for Central Cee, those streets were loud, hostile, and full of politics. The pressure of drill culture. When drill music exploded in the UK, everything changed. Drill wasn't just music, it was street communication. A way for young people to send warnings, make threats, disrespect rival areas, and talk about real-life incidents. By the time Central Cee began experimenting with drill, the scene was already filled with heavy gang tension, knife crime, and neighborhood rivalries. Anyone entering the scene automatically inherited the heat that came with it, even if they weren't involved in crime. The moment Central Cee rose into the spotlight, two things happened. He became visible in a dangerous genre. He became profitable in a place where money attracts jealousy. Young drill rappers were getting robbed, stabbed, or targeted simply for looking successful. So imagine what happens when someone becomes the face of the genre. Success doesn't protect you. Success makes you a target. Jealousy, the most dangerous enemy. One thing that always follows Central Cee is jealousy. Jealousy from artists who didn't blow up, jealousy from people in his area who think he escaped, jealousy from random strangers who hate seeing someone win. When you're from the ends and you become successful, people don't celebrate you. They wait for you to fall. And the more famous Central Cee became, the more people online and offline started watching him, but not with support, with envy, with rumor, with negativity. The streets don't like when someone breaks the cycle. It makes them feel left behind. And jealousy creates one of the most dangerous kinds of targets, silent enemies. People you don't even know who secretly want to bring you down. The robbery attempts and street incidents. Before fame, Central Cee was already moving around West London, going studio, meeting people, and recording wherever he could. But being outside always came with risk. There were whispers of attempted robberies, confrontations, and people trying to approach him because of what he wore, what he posted, and what he represented. Some of these incidents became social media rumors. People saying Cench got pressed in West, posts claiming someone tried to steal from him, stories about certain groups trying to test him. Most of these claims are exaggerated, but the point is this: people only target someone they see as valuable. Before he was even famous, West London youths already saw him as someone who stood out, someone who had something to lose. And that's exactly the kind of person streets love targeting. West vs West. The internal beef. Many people think UK beefs are just East versus South or South versus North. But West London has its own internal divisions that go back years. And Central Cee, simply by being from Shepherd's Bush, automatically inherited tension with certain nearby areas. White City, Ladbroke Grove, Harrow Road, Northwest London blocks, and individuals from outside West who had issues with people. Cench grew up around. You don't need to be active in beef to be connected to it. Postcodes carry history. History carries tension. And tension creates danger. For every area that liked Central Cee, there were areas that didn't respect him, simply because of where he was from. That alone is enough to put a target on any artist's back, especially one who suddenly becomes the face of London worldwide. Online threats and the digital war zone. Central Cee keeps his lifestyle private. He He rarely shows where he is. He moves quietly, and he avoids unnecessary flexing. Why? Because the internet has become the easiest place to make someone a target. Drill fans analyze everything. Where a rapper is, what they're wearing, who they're with, what block they're near, who they follow, who they unfollow, what they post in the background. Every small detail becomes evidence for people who want to stir drama. And as Central Cee's fame grew, so did fake stories, edited videos, people claiming they pressed him, people trying to use his name for views, people trying to start fake beef for clout. The more famous he became, the louder the lies became. But lies have consequences, because even if a story isn't real, someone out there might try to make it real. Survivor's guilt and escaping the ends. When someone becomes rich and successful, people think the danger disappears. But in the UK, it gets worse. Young artists who move out of their ends face survivor's guilt, the emotional pressure of leaving behind people who stayed in the struggle. And the struggle creates resentment, jealousy. He forgot where he came from. Narratives. People thinking he doesn't represent the ends anymore. Old acquaintances turning distant or hostile. This makes Central Cee avoid going back to certain places. Not because he's scared, but because being seen in the wrong place at the wrong time is enough to get someone robbed or stabbed in London. When you're successful, the streets don't see you as someone to celebrate. They see you as a prize. Record label pressure and security changes. When Central Cee became a global superstar, the people around him changed. Labels don't take risks. Managers don't take risks. Tour companies don't take risks. They know that a UK rapper walking around freely is a security nightmare. They've seen too many rappers die. Foolio, PNB Rock, XXXTentacion, King Von, Hypo. And in the UK, stabbing incidents are even more common. That's why Central Cee started moving smarter. Traveling low-key, rarely showing location, limiting people around him, avoiding areas with history, keeping his circle tight, monitoring who has access to him. This wasn't fear, this was survival. You can't level up if you get caught slipping. Why Central Cee will always be a target. Even today, with worldwide fame, chart hits, brand deals, and millions of fans, Central Cee remains a target for 4 reasons. 1. He's successful in a jealous environment. Nothing attracts hate like winning. 2. He comes from an area with old street tension. Postcode beef doesn't disappear because someone becomes famous. 3. Drill culture follows him everywhere. Even if he doesn't engage in violence, the genre itself carries danger. 4. The internet amplifies everything. Rumors spread faster than facts. People want to test him. People want to expose him. People want to use his name for views. People want to see if the superstar is still the same person he was before fame. And when you're a superstar from the ends, the streets never stop watching. Central Cee never wanted beef. He never claimed to be a gangster. But growing up in West London, stepping into drill, and becoming a global superstar made danger part of his story, whether he likes it or not. Some people want his spot, some people want to see him fall, and others just want to drag him back into a world he outgrew. But if one thing's clear, Central Cee survived everything that tried to pull him down. And he's still rising. If you want more deep dives into UK rap's underground stories, make sure to like the video, comment who we should cover next, and subscribe for more content.